I'm back, and as you probably know, Bleach ended recently, so I thought I would talk about it. If you don't know, Bleach is a long-running series. I think it ran for like 15 years, which is ridiculous, and personally, I've been keeping track of it, reading it, and watching the anime for about 10 years now, maybe even a little bit longer, maybe about 12 years. So, that said, I'm saying a big fan, I liked it. I read the last issue, and what the hell was that? It was basically ridiculous. I don't know what happened with the whole series. It just seemed like it got worse and worse and worse, basically. And so, today I thought, let's talk about what should have happened, or what could we have done to fix this, and what was the problem? So, let's do another episode of Can We Fix It? The first thing is predictable battles. Bleach is a shonen manga, so of course you have battles, you have lots of them, that's what it's all about, basically. But the thing with it is, the battles became so predictable because the same thing happened every single time. It would be like, one person would pull out their, special ability, they'd release their Shikai or whatever ability they'd have, and then they'd beat the other person, and it looked like the other person would, be knocked out or die or something, and then they would use their special ability, and they would do the same thing back to the other person, then the other person would release their, Bankai or their, whatever their ultimate move was, and, push back the other person, then that person would release their ultimate move, and then in the end, something would happen, and usually the good guy would win. And this happened so many times, it just became... I didn't understand why you do that. Like, if you know this person is strong, just start from the Bankai and start to, beat them, quickly and easily. And to be honest, one time that did happen. I remember right at this last arc, right after Ichigo came to Soul Society, there was some guy, I think it was like Chaz Domino or something, that attacked him, and he just one-shotted him. And to be honest, that was one of my favorite fights, just because I was like, oh yeah, Ichigo's way stronger than everybody, he should be able to beat them in one hit. That was the perfect fight, but other ones just kept going on and on. Like, for example, in his last arc, where I believe it's Rose and Renji and, who is it, Kinsei, I think? They fight that wrestler guy, was it Masked and Masculine or something? They fight him, and it just goes on forever, and you're like, what is going on? Just end this fight, I don't want to see this anymore. I guess he thought like, oh, this is kind of be funny, but I was like, it's not funny for, what is it, like 7 chapters or something. I was like, have it be 1 chapter and just be done with it. I'd rather either he lose, and it's like, okay, you're done with him, or he beats them and they're done with it for now. I don't want to see anymore. It's too long. Same thing happened with Mayuri and Grants, and also it was like Noritora and Kinpachi. The battles are too long and too predictable. You can't just keep, pulling things out of nowhere. So, that brings me to point 2. Crazy powers. As the show went on, people got more and more overpowered, and when you have like some kind of powers, they're fun. Like Ichigo had that big sword, and it could kind of like shoot like a laser beam. That was fun. Renji had that sword, and it would change into like an extendo sword. That was fun. You know what's not fun? When somebody can see into the future and just break your weapons. You know what else is not fun? Hypnotism. You just hypnotize people, make them see things, and then they're just attacking air, and then you kill them. You know what else is not fun? When you live forever, or when you paralyze someone with fear, or when you take over somebody's body parts. It's just like, it doesn't look good on the page, and it's just kind of boring, and it's like, why? It just creates these plot holes, because like, if you have that power, like you can take over somebody's body, why not just use that at the very beginning, take over their brain, and then you're done with the fight? Why even try to use any other power? It doesn't make any sense. Or the last villain, Bach. He has the power to see into the future. Why use any other power? Why even get an army to fight against the Shinigami? Just use that power and beat everybody. Makes no sense. And so that's why I don't like these powers. It ruined the whole manga, because you think, and you're like, this guy could have beaten everybody. Why even go through the trouble of doing these other things? It's stupid. The next thing that annoyed me, the plot lines that go nowhere. There's so many loose ends in Bleach. It's like they had these plots and then they just drop them for no reason and basically just don't know what happened to them. Why did this happen? For example, in the Ectomundo arc, Ichigo goes there and to save Orihime, and you're like, why is Orihime even there? And it's like Aizen captures her because he thinks, I can use her to help, mature the Hyogyoku. But in the end, she doesn't do anything. He says like, I need to wait, was it 9 months or 12 months before this thing's mature, before I can attack in Karakura City, and I need to make sure this is ready. And he's like, oh, now I have Orihime, I can, mature it faster. Doesn't even do that. Just like 3 months early, he's like, I guess I don't need her. I can just eat it and it'll mature. Okay, let's start fighting now. And you're like, what? Why'd you kidnap her then? You didn't realize you could eat it 3 months ago? And so now it's like you have this dropped plot hole, and I was like, ugh, why even do that? It's a complete waste of time. And the same thing with other things. They're like, this is it was a Fullbringer arc. This is Chad's training arc. He's gonna get stronger. Didn't do anything. Just completely pointless. Same thing with Ishida's powers. Like, now he got this power from Bach, and now he's gonna use it. He fights that guy Haschwald, and he's like, okay, Haschwald's like, I can reverse any damage you do to me, and whatever. Ishida gets hurt. Then afterwards, he's like, here's my power, the antithesis, so I'll reverse it to you. And then Haschwald just reverses him back, and you're like, what? What? Can you just use your power again and just keep reversing it on each other? But he doesn't, and then it's like, okay, well, you just lost. And then out of nowhere, Bach uses that power where he steals everyone's powers, and Haschwald just dies because of that. And you're like, well, why did you do that? You weren't losing anything. You didn't need more power. Why did you take everyone's power all of a sudden? But not explained. And also, it took everyone's power, but why didn't it take Ishida's power? No explanation. Who knows? Who cares? The last problem with Bleach is too many characters. Why are there so many characters? Look at this last arc. You can see on this page here, the Bleach wiki. Look at all these Sternritter. You have like A through Z of Sternritter. Why? Who cares about all these people? And it's not even like, oh, well, you need somebody for the Shinigami to fight. It's like you have the Gotei 13. You need like 13 people. If you're gonna make this many people, just make them like generic people so the Gotei 13 can win. They tried to do, like in some parts, some of these people they gave like backstories to and tried to give you information about their personalities. And other people they're just like, whatever. Who cares? And so it just seemed like it was like a drawing exercise for Kubo. I was like, I didn't even understand it. Not only that, the problem with like, the hack powers also manifested with this. Like you have, look here, look, why? It's like you have Lloyd and Lloyd, which are basically the same people. One of them is like, okay, well he's not so strong and he got beat by Kenpachi while Kenpachi beat 3 other people. The other one is supposed to be his twin, but apparently he's so strong that he can beat Kenpachi and he can like go toe-to-toe with Gen Ryusai for a while. And then afterwards, Bach just kills him, and I was like, wait a second, that's one of the strongest people on your team. He may be like the strongest Sternritter. Why'd you just kill him for no reason? Who cares? And so basically, not only this with the bad guys, but also the good guys. They have so many Gotei 13 members. They have the Visored, which they just kind of forgot about. I know for me, and I think lots of people, one of the things that people really wanted to see is they wanted to see the release of every sword. They wanted to see the Shikai and Bankai of every single member. But there's lots of people whose Bankai we never even saw. Like, one of my favorite characters, Hirako Shinji. What is his Bankai? Who knows? Probably never know. Even the main character, Ichigo, we got to see his Bankai, his final Bankai after he got the 2 swords, but what was it? What did it do? Nobody knows. let's see. Let me go down and see if they have some kind of explanation here at the bottom. Powers and abilities. Here we go. Master Swordsman, Zanpakuto Shikai, and they talk about how he has the 2 swords now. Bankai. I actually kind of like this design. It was, based on the old one, but it was still kind of original and new, so I was like, it's interesting. Bankai special ability. While the power of the true Tensa Zangetsu is currently unknown, a Soul King empowered Yawich considered it dangerous enough to necessitate immediately breaking Ichigo's Bankai following its activation during their battle. What? Why even make a new ability if you're not going to use it? This is one of the main problems. It's things like that. It's not just like, oh, it's not as good as it could be. It actively frustrates you. It spends so much time on things you don't care about, like that fight with the pro wrestler, and then the actual fight with Bach. It's like they barely spend any time on it, and the time they do spend on it is just stupid powers like, I just cracked your sword by going into the future. I'd rather just see, like, at the end of this, I just wanted to see a sword fight. Bleach is supposed to be a sword fighting manga. I just want sword fights. I don't want all these stupid powers. I don't want this Deus Machina all the time. Just have them fight with swords. And the really sad part about it is Kubo's actually good at drawing sword fights. He's a good artist, and he's gotten better over time, but it seems like the better his ability to draw and make action scenes, the worse the scenes actually get. He's like, oh, well, I guess I could do a cool sword fight, but I'll just give him some stupid power like he can go back in time and change the past so this never happened. And, jeez. I should probably stop there, but those are the things I think, if they would have changed them, they would have made Bleach much better. I hope if Kubo makes another series, he actually thinks about this and does a better job writing it. Because to be honest, if you haven't read Bleach, the first part of Bleach is amazing. From probably the beginning until the end of the Soul Society arc, it's amazing manga. I even go past that. From the beginning to probably the Visored arc. Right when Ichigo decides to go to Ectomundo, that's when it starts getting terrible. I don't know. Tell me what you think below. Do you agree, disagree, or whatever? Anyways, until next time, see you. If you enjoyed that video, subscribe. Also, feel free to comment down below and check out some of my other videos here. Or is it here?